Got a lot of work in today, nice and shallow, awesome. So Eddie, that was a lot of fun working with you for the last 3 lessons. Let's talk about today real quick because we worked on a ton of stuff, it seemed like. We started with your right hand in the cradle, doing wedge work. And I feel like we kind of just kept going with what we were already working on, but what I felt that we finally landed on was more confidence. I think at the beginning of this lesson you said, I don't really feel like I'm going to hit it where I need to. And I think eventually, you know, we kept tuning little things with your setup that we'll look over on video later on, but I think at the end of it was, can we get Eddie to release? Can we get Eddie to close the club face and confidently swing down his line? And when you started doing that, you started putting the ball in the exact spot that you needed. We have 3 white flags out there at 65, 75, 85 yards. And eventually, when you started getting to the point where you're like, okay, I'm set up properly, I feel like I can release the club face properly and on time with confidence, you can put the ball anywhere you want. So then what we kind of went into, if you remember, is we said, okay, let's take the pro sender off, and let's now see what we can do with a full routine. So we backed you off the ball. We went from block practice to random practice. And I think that's the best way that you're going to gauge yourself ready for the golf course, because golf is a big game of random, right? So that's you stepping away from the ball, committing to a routine where you told me, okay, I don't take any looks. Do you waggle at all? I forgot if you did or not.
Only with a driver, really.
Only with a driver. So with all your irons and your wedges, right, there's no waggle, there's no look. You're stepping up to the ball, you've got your line already, and then you pull the trigger and release. And you're hitting the ball well. I think it's just you, whatever you do, I think your mentality, when you're going to go play in a little bit. So let's think about this. Your mentality when you're over the ball is going to be, I want to miss long most of the time. Make your targets short, and then your miss is long, right? So if you have a back pin, you're thinking front of the green, but you can hit it as far to the middle as you can. Like, be long up front, right? That's your idea. And then we kind of got into your 8-iron, and we were able to kind of mitigate your right and left miss with your left hip, right? So we know that's a problem as well, setup-wise and motion-wise, where we got to pull that left hip out of the way. So I guess in your mind, today when you go and play, what are the 2 swing thoughts that you're going to focus on the entire round, and then what is your 1 swing thought?
Or the 2 setup thoughts and 1 swing thought?
Yes, 2 setup, 1 swing, sorry.
Well, it's I'm gonna get a little bit more hand press in the setup, and also my left arm locked, because I start to come up, because I'm not really gauging the distance with my left arm in the club and the ball. And swing thought, I'm just trying to make sure this hip doesn't shoot forward like I'm trying to swing a baseball.
So you have that right miss or shank.
Yeah. Right. So then I just kind of keep here and shoot backwards, or not backwards, but you know.
Yeah, and I noticed, you know, we worked really hard for the last 2 lessons, really, on keeping your right foot flat. That's allowing your chest to move well, and also your left hip. And I think if your left hip pulls out of the way, that almost centers your weight, or even puts a bias onto your back foot, where that right foot can't really come up off the ground so early. And then
I started to feel that.
Yeah, and that's why you see a lot of good players. Like, you got to look at Ben On's swing from PGA. He goes late. Right, that's happening after the fact. So, okay, so I want you to go play today, have fun, but your 2 swing thoughts are going to be locked out, a little press, and then that's your setup thoughts, and then your swing thought is going to be left hip pulling out of the way, and you're commit to that. Course management wise, your miss is always going to try to be long, right? Exactly. So cool, man. We'll keep working on it, but I'd like you to maybe keep up with your band work, keep up with your pro sender work with all your wedge shots, and I think over the next, I don't know, month of practice, we just limit it to that, because we don't really need to change a whole bunch. We know what we need to work on, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a practice plan on your own, where we kind of really repeat the same things that we've been doing. So it's going to be like a day of band work, and then a day of short game shots with your pro sender, and then it's going to be a day of routine work where you do random practice. So it's like those 3 things repeated, and I think that's going to make you a more consistent golfer, because you're getting into a flow, you know exactly what you need to work on, that type of stuff. So again, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.